as a man's inexpressible desire and idea. During the past several thousand years of man's cultural history, there was been no man who did not have this ideal of happiness. The ideal has never met the reality, but man has constantly tried to achieve this ideal in his life. In this way, great progress has been made in every field of human culture, politics, economics, society, religion, science, and so forth. As you well know, man is established a highly developed, affluent society which cannot even be compared to those of ancient or medieval times. And there is no doubt that science has been the decisive factor in this development. If science has not developed economic prosperity such as we have today, could not have occurred. The fact shows that the majority of scientists have made the realization of a happy, ideal society their mission. That is, science develops science and technology with a keen sense of mission to actualize the dreams of mankind. Sometimes the results of scientific research have been misused by men of power for unrighteous purposes, but still the fundamental spirit of science has aided towards the fulfillment of ideal society for men. In this way, the purpose of science is to realize man's dreams, but the past, even science, made great strides. These could not always be immediately used to better all mankind because of national and racial barriers. This indicates that some people insisted on national boundaries for science, but actually science should belong to mankind and not be monopolized by any particular nation or bloc. This reminds us, however, that many scientists with a strong sense of mission fought against the unrighteous force to ignore its original purpose and hinder the realization of the true ideal society. Among all the scientists, there also have been a few who possess the spirit of serving mankind because they became too involved in their own immediate interests. But the basic attitude of most scientists was to contribute to the peace and prosperity of all mankind. In science, there are many fields, but there is no one single field which does not aim at the realization of human happiness. Physics, chemistry, medicine, biology, geology, astronomy, all have the same purpose. Of course, the past several centuries, science has been divided as specialized into many small fields by analytic methods. But recently, a new and hopeful trend is appearing to consolidate and unify all the divided knowledge by the synthetic method. The knowledge of unified is the most conspicuous example of this tendency. Despite its many divisions of the present time, science has worked toward one goal, one direction, that is, each specialized field has worked for the realization of a happy world. World is its own particular way, and there is no doubt that it will continue toward the same goal in the nature, in the future. Yet, when you look at the present world situation, There are many deplorable conditions, despite the development of science and the prosperity of the economy. There are still many situations throughout the world. Despite science, people desire and diligent effort, poverty, illiteracy, and disease still prevail in the underdeveloped countries. Various troubles, pride, and immorality prevail in the advanced countries and nations, wars and hostility continue among nations. Thus mankind continues to suffer from sorrow, despair, and pain in the midst of our luxuriously developed culture. Many leaders are trying to eliminate this misery and to establish true peace and stability. But the world is filled with empty words of peace, and mankind is sinking deeper and deeper into restlessness, anxiety, and fear. How has this come about? The main reason is the standard of faith, which reflects man's behavior, has been undermined, as ethics and morality has lost their power. The standard of goodness has all but disappeared. Now I'm going to explain why. No one can deny that every creature, including man, is a unified being with two natures, a material nature and a mind-like nature. Man is a unified being of body and mind. Animals are the unified beings of body and distinct. Plants are the unified beings of matter and objective life. And inorganic bodies are the unified beings of matter and objective energy. From the standpoint of entirety, the cosmos is the world of ethics, and it must therefore have an ultimate cause. Materialism says this ultimate cause is matter, and idealists insist that it is spirit. However, because the world of ethics is made of unified beings, it is two natures, the cause must also be a monistic being, with the potential of the two natures, matter and mind, unified into one. In other words, the ultimate cause must be an absolute unified being with two natures, which can create the attributes of mind and matter, respectively. Only from unified and monistic cause can a unified world of ethics be brought about. That is, the unified ethics must have a unified monastic being at its core. Therefore, we must say that materialism dictates matter as a fundamental cause of the universe is incorrect. The cause cannot be matter. For matter is an expression of only one of the attributes of the cause. This cause exists as non-matter prior to its expression in matter. Man is also the unified being brought out by the unified cause. Consequently, man cannot be considered only material being, nor only spiritual being. Therefore, the improvement of physical life to our body alone cannot create happiness. Only by improving both spiritual and physical life at the same time can true happiness be brought about. This has put its effort in improving material life because its domain was limited to the material world. Therefore, in spite of our hard work and deep desire of science, mankind has not been able to escape distress and care. Here we can conclude that science must participate in the revelation of spiritual life in order to secure the true happiness of mankind and to protect the precious work accomplished so far by scientists. The reformation of spiritual life begins creating a world of goodness, that is, the society of new morality by establishing a new standard of value. Then how can we create a spiritual reformation? First, we must set up a standard of goodness, and to determine goodness, we must decide the sense of law. This is because goodness is a practice of law. Then, what can be the sense of law? It must be God, who is unique, eternal, and unchanging being, existing since before the formation of the cosmos. Love is the flow of heart, that is, the outpouring of the deepest heart. Therefore, the essence of God is heart. This God is the unified being, which is the fundamental cause of the cosmos being, and ontology. The formation of that cause by fundamental cause is simply the creation of the cosmos by God. Then how can God create the cosmos and man? God could do it because God has heart. And where there is heart, life appears. And where there is life, development, and creation can take place. For creation there must always be a purpose. This is because heart directs toward purpose. The purpose of creation could only be joy, which fulfills the desire of heart. This joy comes when the creation, especially man, comes to resemble God. God's goal of creation is to have man and the world of happiness. Then the kingdom of heaven reflects the love and the creativity of God, which is relating mind and respectively. We know this is true from the text. Then man's ideal is actually to seek after such a man and world. The ideal is a world which was originally given to man at its core. The fact that man seeks a joyful world as its ideal means of a joyful world, the one God planned for man. Such a world reflects God's love and creativity and thus becomes joyful. Through our amazing scientific progress, we have begun to take back God's creative power, not just His love. In order to take His love, we must practice His love and live a life of goodness. For the practice of love is goodness itself. For the life of goodness, man should make God, who is the subject of love, the sense of existence of God. Since God is both the center and essence of all things, His love is unchangeable, unchanging, and everlasting, even though His creation. The eternal world is transitory. Therefore, when we take God as our standard of goodness, absolute value can be established, and then the eternal world of the peace and the happiness will be realized. Since the ideal world is a realization of God's purpose creation, is a world which reflects God, when always seeks to have a harmonious and peaceful life filled with God's love, and also seeks to improve its environment by creating new things continually. Here does not mean more production. but whether older creative actions, such as originating new ideas, training, improving, and producing. Since God is a unified being, man of their life should also be unified. This means man must love, while he lives an active, creative life, and we must live a creative life while he loves. Such a man is a unified man, and the world he lives in the unified world. As repeatedly mentioned, man has come to reflect God creatively through outstanding scientific progress, but so far has not learned to love. So this world is still filled with sorrow, pain, and distress. Since harmony is the essential nature of law, harmony cannot exist where there is no law. Likewise, peace, happiness cannot exist where there is no harmony. Thus, mankind presents suffering continues because of the lack of law. Therefore, it is natural that both God and man have been longing for the ideal life and world that it would resemble God. In other words, the ideal man, which God and the original mind of man is a creative and man practicing God and God law. The ideal world is a world filled with creative actions to improve the environment and would be filled with love between individuals and between nature. When this new type of person comes to live in this new unified world, all the sorrow, pain, and hate which have flooded man throughout history will be eliminated forever. The original man and world should have been good, resembling God's nature, but today man and world have been evil and have not rejected God because men in the world have not been realizing their original nature. Therefore, to save present mankind from his distress and chaos, we have to restore the original state of man and the world and make it in our actual life. For this, we have to find out the absolute standard of goodness and must practice the life of goodness. The standard of goodness is the strength of law, is God. The fact that all mankind is struggling so hard to escape the reality of pain and chaos and is longing for peace and freedom shows that man's original mind is seeking the standard of goodness and the sense of law, to find the sense of law, to establish the eternal world of happiness on earth. In the universal desire of all mankind. Now I mentioned that the world both God and man desire is a unified world in which creativity and law are practiced. In this world, the desire of both God and people will be fulfilled, but practice law men must find the sense of law. The practice law unknown must be settled, because the true life of law requires order. In a society where order has been destroyed, a life of law cannot be practiced in harmony. That is to say, a life of law needs order, and for order unknown is required. Known means laws and principles which regulate man's behavior, and these are morality and ethics. Therefore, to have a good life centered on law, man must set of sound morals and ethics, and must practice them. The morals and ethics which apply to the unified world must be clear, applicable to modern man. The reason why past morals and ethics have been undermined lies partly in modern man's tendency towards materialism. But it all comes from the fact that the standard of value no longer satisfies modern man's reasoning capacity. For this establishment of the morals and ethics based on the new standard of value becomes inevitable. Then how can this new standard of value be set up? It can only come from an elevate, unified system of thought which can unify all the past philosophy and the religious doctrine. All the philosophies and the religions of the past have their own views of value. Each is a strong point which are still connection. But people have nearly left them behind because these views could not adjust to the coming new age. Therefore, to establish the new view of value, we must absorb all the strong points of past views of value and develop new values which can meet the needs of modern man. That a new unified thought system that appears as unified all the past philosophy and the religion, because the past views of value and ethics were based on the philosophy and the religion of their respective ages. When the new morals and ethics emerged from the unified thought system, the unified world of goodness will be created for the first time. The moral orientation of the world, then the very theme of this conference means spreading this new view of value worldwide in order to build the new unified world. In conclusion, I'd like to say more about the role of unified society. First, I am very grateful to the organizers of Unified Society for their efforts to synthesize the subdividable knowledge of science. The divisible specialization of science, just like the dismantling of a machine, ultimately paralyzes the unitary function of the whole, that keeps science from fulfilling its mission. But here, today, pioneer scientists are systematically integrating and unifying the truth of past scientific discovery into a new system of philosophical science. I think this is a northward event, deserving high praise. It corresponds to the historical emergence of the new system of unified thought, which unifies all texts, philosophy, and religion, and establishes a new view of value for the modern age. As I previously pointed out, the main mission of science is to improve man's material life. I expect unified science will contribute with a new effectiveness to that end. However, just as the original man is the unified being of spirit and body, true social life unites both spiritual and material, and the ideal world unites love and creates action. Therefore, the true world of happiness cannot be realized by the improvement of material life alone. By this, we can come to the conclusion that unified science must unite with unified thought in order to accomplish its mission. Then, this unification is accomplishing the long-standing problem of unifying vision, and science will give results, and finally the unified world of prosperity, happiness, and goodness will be established. These old systems and thoughts will pass away, and ideal unified world with the new age systems and thoughts will be established on earth. Thank you.